DJI, really? Hey guys, it's me, Steve WB, and welcome back to my channel. And today, the video you've been waiting for, the official talk, review of the DJI OM5. Now, I bought this gimbal with my own money to give an honest opinion with the pure intention of returning this, and I am still going to return it because I'm just not really that much of a gimbal person. As you know, I did a video on the OM4 and I was blasting it pretty good because the one that I had truly sucked. And get mad, get happy. It is what it is. If you have great luck with your OM4, your OM5, more power to you. I'm very happy for you. I use Android. I think there's some kind of hiccup between Android and DJI at times. This video is about my experience. As you can see, we have the OM5 here. You can tell it's the OM5 because it's got the built-in selfie stick. I played with this gimbal quite a bit and I had pretty good luck with it. You know, one of my biggest complaints before was whenever I would move around and I would come back, the gimbal would be way off center. Like it was sideways off center. But this gimbal comes close enough back that you can deal with it. It's not really that big of a deal. One of the big improvements on this gimbal is now you can change the modes on the button on the outside. You just tap the mode button 4 times and you will go into first person view, FPV mode. Where you can turn it like if you were riding a roller coaster every which way. So that works pretty well. And you know, for your sport mode, tap it and hold the trigger button down, and then you can go into full sport mode like so. And as you can tell, it's back on center. So good for you, DJI. You've improved that. Makes me happy. One of my other big complaints was range of motion. And you can see this gimbal is extremely severely limited on range of motion. Right there the camera starts tilting down, right there it starts tilting up. But I'm going to go ahead and just use the toggle and show you the full amount. It can only go from here to here. That is not, that's just straight up and down. It gives you no play that way. And the problem is that whenever you hold it like this, you're already maxed out. So if you lean it at all, you know, like this, if you're filming yourself, you're already maxed out. If you go any further than that, it starts to mess up. So what does DJI do? They give you a selfie stick, right? See if I don't run out of frame here. If I have the selfie stick and I extend it like this, which is normal, it doesn't come down far enough to even record yourself. What the heck, DJI? What were you thinking? But then it's almost like they had an afterthought, like, oh crap, we've already built this thing and designed it and spent all this money on it, so how do we fix it? They put a hinge right here. So you gotta manually grab this thing and twist it up to be able to record yourself with the selfie stick. And to me, that's annoying. That's kind of like defeating the purpose of the selfie stick. You're supposed to be making it easier. I shouldn't have to, when I extend out, grab this and adjust it. And when I come back, grab this and adjust it. And then if I want to go back out, grab this and adjust it. That just doesn't make any sense to me. The selfie stick is good to make it wider, but as far as having to do this, that's terrible. Terrible, terrible. So let's get that out of the way. Now another thing that I had a problem with the OM5 was, you know, it goes off the range of motion. I said I like to do the low crane shot, like with the HOHIM, and as you come up, the camera will stay level, and you can go all the way up, you know, like just a full crane movement. DJI's solution for how you do that is you twist the camera like this. And then you twist the camera like this, and then as you walk forward to do it, you just rotate it like this. And then you come up. My camera keeps flipping because of the mode. It doesn't always do that. Or I have the camera in there backwards. But you could start low, and then as you come up, it gives you that range of motion, which is okay. That's a technique that you get used to. I'm sure you could do that with the OM4 as well. I just don't like, having to do all that. Not a big deal. Now, what we're gonna do is, I'm gonna go through all the buttons real quick and show you all the different functions of the OM4 and what it does. And we're gonna get into some test footage as well to see if they've improved the stabilization. Now we're going to go through all the buttons and functions. The first thing that most people ask is, do I still need the pesky app to change the modes? And the answer is no. On the side here you have the mode button. Let's just go ahead and start from scratch. And I'm talking about this little button right here on the top. The mode button and the power button is one and the same. You hold it down, you get the little tone, and it comes on. If you tap it, it'll switch you to video mode. Just one time, one hit, will switch from camera to video, photo to video. If you hit it twice, it'll put the gimbal into a standby mode, where it's basically turned off, and you can hit any button to turn it back on. And then if you hit it 4 times, it's how you switch modes on the gimbal. You don't have to go into the app for this anymore. So right now is in a follow mode. Whichever way I twist it or lean it, it's going to kind of go, right? But if I hit this 4 times, now we're in FPV mode. So if you were riding a roller coaster or whatever, that's the mode. And then hit 4 clicks to go back to follow mode. And we're now going to go to the trigger button on the front. I'll show it to you real quick right there. If you tap this button 1 time, it's going to put it in follow mode or active track. If you tap it twice, it's going to recenter the gimbal. If you hold it, it's going to lock all directions. And if you tap it and hold it, then that's going to put you in a sport mode to where you can make faster movements. Now for the record button, obviously if you hit it once, it's going to start recording. And then if you hit it once, you're going to stop recording. But say you're in photo mode and you hold this button down, it's going to burst shoot. And you can see the little counter racking up the photos there. We just took 17 photos. So that's kind of a cool little feature as well. Now of course you have your directional pad here, your little directional switch. And then you have your little arrow button here. And what this does is, if you hit it once, there I am. It'll switch from selfie cam back to front cam. If you hit it twice, it goes from portrait to landscape. And that's pretty much all that button does. And that pretty much covers all the different modes and buttons of the OM5. So that's just a quick overview of what the different buttons do. As you can see that DJI has improved the reliability of the gimbal. It comes back to center way better than the OM4 did. You can now switch modes by hitting the mode button and not having to go into the app. So they have improved this gimbal over the OM4. I would definitely recommend this over the OM4. And now we're going to go and do some field testing, checking stabilization and just everyday use. And of course we still have to test out the selfie stick, and I'll give you my thoughts on this whole setup after we get done with our test. With all that being said, let's go out in the field, check it out. And I just do want to make one side note as well. The Note 20 Ultra is not supported technically by this gimbal. So for all my field tests, I used my Galaxy S9 Plus, just so I didn't have to hear about, oh, well, it weighed too much or it's not supported. Of course, it didn't work right. So in the field, I'm going to use the S9 Plus. So let's get right into it, check out some footage, and then we'll come back and do a wrap up, a final thought, things you're going to love and things you're going to hate. Okay, so as you can see, the OM5 has been greatly improved in my opinion. They've taken care of the mobility issues that I was having. There's only two real issues that I have with this gimbal. Number one, of course, being that the selfie stick has a manual hinge on it. You manually have to do this, okay? The second flaw that I don't like is when you are in selfie mode, when you have your selfie camera on. As I said before, if you tap the trigger button one time, what that does is that puts active track on. When you have the selfie camera on, my active track stays on my face all the time. Like as soon as it comes on, so I have to tap the button to turn it off. Now the issue comes in whenever I'm walking and filming and I have to recenter. When I have to recenter, you have to tap the trigger button twice. Well, the first tap is registered and it turns active track back on. And then it starts tracking your face all over again and never really recenters the gimbal. Let me see if I can replicate that real quick. So here we are. As you can see, as I move this gimbal, it's on me, right? So if I turn active track off, now you can see that the gimbal is kind of skewed. So I'm going to tap it because I just want it to go back to center. You know, I just want it to face forward. So watch the camera. I double tap. And look what it does. The active track comes back on and starts tracking my face. It doesn't go to center. It does not recenter. So let's turn active track off. And now let's say I want to recenter the gimbal. Let's double tap. Active track's back on and it's just going wonky again. So you almost have to like get it where you want the camera and then turn active track off on your selfie cam if you want to have control of your camera in selfie mode. But that's a pain in the ass, no doubt. Anyway, like I said, greatly improved, not a bad gimbal, just a couple little flaws and dislikes. I think it'll do you well if you like it. Like I said before, gimbals are not for me, and this one will be going back. I'm Steve WB, and I'm out.